Welcome to ECN Trade Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration.
Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you very much for joining me. The Australian dollar overnight leapt to an intraday high of 68.05 after a slightly less dovish comments from the RBA Governor Philip Lowe, speaking in the New South Wales Northern Tablelands town of Armidale. On Tuesday night, the RBA Governor has given the strongest indication yet that another rate cut in official rates will be delivered next week in the meeting when the RBA gets together and decides on whether we will see a cut or not. But at present, it was hinted that a 25 basis point cut could see the market drop back down towards 0.75%. Recently, the back-to-back June and July cut has clearly shown that it's not worked for the RBA after stating that they would prefer seeing the unemployment rate around 4.5%. Nevertheless, from the indication, has put a little bit of a mixed spurge on the Aussie. Still, though, I expect to see the market foul towards any challenge to 68 figure 25 and furthermore see a decline back towards the recent contested lows of 67.60 or where the objective is, and I do expect to see where the bulls are harboring at 68.80.90. It was a very mixed overnight session for the US dollar and the euro. However, the wheels were slightly wobbling on the US dollar after some coverage news, that is, of Democrat members of Congress would formally announce an impeachment inquiry to President Trump, adding further uncertainty in the markets. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced the House is launching a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump, setting up a dramatic constitutional clash just over a year before the presidential election. Still, the market is still, from a technical point, bearish. I still hold the call to 109.35 and reassess from there. From a technical point, we nearly had the marriage between the RSI and the MACD and could see the 109.35 being crushed and exposing the way towards 108.65. Any advancement sees resistance at 110.55 to 111 figure 15. Dollar yen falls further overnight and, as you can see, is taken up the level now of 107.35, which now exposes the region of 106. Well, highlighted here, 106.70. I do believe the market is getting further to a point where the marriage is between the two indicators that we could see maybe down to 106 or down to 105.35 to 55. Nevertheless, I still feel the bears are in control and still likely to take the market further to the downside. But we do need to see this break of 106.70 to support my negative case to the downside. But technically, we are nearly at a point of supporting that view. Looking at the pound, well, the market is still a little bit uncertain, but we did reject the level of 124.15. From a technical point, I do believe the market will pose further threat to the downside and therefore could see one more test towards 124.15. If we get a rejection there, then I'm actually turning my call back to bullish and could see a move back towards the top side of this range that comes in around 125.45. The gold broke higher and took the challenge of 1,530 out to post a high of 35. Backing off slightly, nevertheless, still, I believe the market is bullish from these two indicators, the RSI and the MACD, and therefore looks towards 32 to 38 and up towards the recent highs around 50.54. Support seen at 1,518 to 22. Well, wrapping up with oil, the market dropped over 2% and now fills the gap that was initiated last week, early Monday, after the market rallied 15%. Now, if we do see some respect from the level of around $55.60, then we could see further upside potential. and therefore look towards a region of 57 and back up to the target, I believe, of the recent highs of 62. So let's see how it plays out later today. Well, that wraps up for today. Thank you very much for joining me. And as always, look out for the intraday report, and I hope you enjoy the great start to this new day.